Today I'll develop the story of King Yeonsan-gun and his wife Lady Shin. The 10th king, Yeonsan-gun, was dethroned as king, so his tomb is not a royal tomb, but a mule. It's not a Joseon royal tomb and is not the World Cultural Heritage Site. The location is 방학동, 도봉구, Seoul. There is no commentator provided. There is no separate parking lot provided. This place contains the tombs of Yeonsan-gun and his wife, Ko Chang-gun 부인, as well as the tomb of King Taejong's concubine, Eujong-kungju Jo, and the tombs of Yeonsan-gun's daughter and son-in-law. There is only 10 stones in the tomb of Eujong-kungju. Yeonsan-gun's 묘 is the tomb of Yeonsan-gun, the 10th king of the Joseon dynasty, and Shin, the wife of Ko Chang-gun 부인. Yeonsan-gun's 묘 is a twin burial mounds arranged by side within a single grain field. When viewed from the ritual area, the tomb of Yeonsan-gun is on the left and the tomb of Ko Chang-gun 부인 is on the right. Yeonsan-gun passed away in Gyeodong, Ganghwa Island, his place of exile, in 1506, and his tomb was created there. In 1512, Ko Chang-gun buin requested King Jungjong to move Yeonsan-gun's tomb to his current location in Haecheon, Yangju. The grave was moved to its new location. 2 pairs of stone civil officer, a stone pillars, a stone lantern, a stone spirit dice, and the tombstones were placed in the tomb, and the tomb keeper's house was placed near the tomb. This cemetery was originally the land of King Sejong's son, Prince Imyeong, and at King Sejong's order, Prince Imyeong took care of King Taejong's childless concubine, Song Bi-won clan, and King Taejong's concubine, Eujong-kungju. When Eujong-kungju's concubine passed away in 1454, Prince Imyeong built her tomb at the current location, which was his own land, and conducted a memorial service. Afterwards, Prince Imyeong's first son, Oh-san-gun, took charge of the tomb, and Oh-san-gun's tomb was also built nearby, and the tomb was managed by the Oh-san-gun faction. Then in 1512, Ko Chang-buon-gun, granddaughter of Prince Imyeong, requested King Jungjong to move the tomb of Yeonsan-gun from Gyeodong, Ganghwa Island to its current location, which was her maternal grandfather's land. Because of this, she moved the tomb of Yeonsan-gun over the tomb of Eujong-kungju, where it was originally located. In 1524, the tombs of King Yeonsan-gun's daughter, Princess Hee-sun, and his son-in-law, Woo Mun-kyung, were built below the tomb of Eujong-kungju. Afterwards, Ko Chang-gun buin passed away in 1537, and she was buried next to Yeonsan-gun. Yeonsan-gun was born in 1476 as the son of King Seongjong and Lady Yoon, the deposed queen consort. Yeonsan-gun was raised by Queen Cheong-hyeon, the third queen of Seongjong, when his biological mother, Lady Yoon, was dethroned in 1479, and he grew up knowing Queen Cheong-hyeon as his biological mother. He was installed as crown prince in 1483 and ascended the throne at Injeongjeon in Changdeok-gung Palace when Seongjong passed away in 1494. When Yeonsan-gun led King Seongjong's Nungjimun, he realized that he was the son of the deposed Queen Win, not Queen Cheong-hyeon, and gave permission to hold an ancestral rite for Yoon. This is the tomb of deposed Queen Yoon, King Seongjong's wife and King Yeonsan-gun's biological mother. When she died in 1482, it was created as a general tomb in Changdan, Gyeonggi-do. In 1497, it was moved to Hwaegidong, Dongdaemun-gu, Seoul, and called Hwaemyo. Due to the Kapjasawa incident, it was rebuilt in the form of royal tomb and became Hwaerung. However, it was returned to the grave after the King Jungjong's rebellion, and in 1969 it was moved to the Seosamnung Concubine Cemetery. And this time, only the burial area was moved from Hwaegidong, Dongdaemun-gu in 1969, so 홍설문 게이트엔 정자가 안 왔대요. The letters for Hui are the same, but the Chinese characters are different. At the beginning of his enthronement, King Yunsan tried to relieve the poor and improve the national defense system, promote the production of weapons, and systematize the tradition of storing the spirit tablets of deceased kings and queens at the Zhongmyo Shrine. However, many people were killed in 1498 Buo Sawa and 1504 Gapja Sawa. After Sawa, he lost interest in politics, abolished the Gyeongyeon, indulged in luxury and pleasure, and practiced tyranny, including implementing cruel punishment. Eventually, in 1506, Hungu forces such as Song Hee-an and Park Won-jong staged the Jungjeong Rebellion, and he was dethroned. Yeon San-gun later died 2 months after being exiled to Gyeodong Gangwon Island. Wouldn't it have been better for him to die than to be kicked out of the position of absolute power of all people and live a miserable life? Buo Sawa is an incident in which the Sarin faction, including Kim Il-sung, was harmed by the Hungu factions, and the Sarin faction suffered damage due to Kim Jong-ik's Joyi Jaemun. Gapja Sawa is an incident in which the Hungu and the Sarin factions were harmed by the Cheokshin factions by taking advantage of the death incident of Yeon San-gun's biological mother, the divorce council win. Rebellion of King Jungjong is an incident in which Song Hee-an, Park Won-jong, and Ryu Sun-jung deposed Yeon San-gun and established Prince Jin-sung. Yeon San-gun had beautiful women and good horses come from all over, used Seonggyong-gwan as a playground, and made Wongaksa Temple a banquet hall and entertainment hall. At this time, the national affairs of the country were impoverished by the selected revelers and their food and entertainment expenses. So the term Hungcheongmanggu was coined, and this word soon became the etymology of Hungcheongmangcheong. Hungcheongmang is a phrase that describes the behavior of spending money or goods without sparing any expense. Ko Chang-gun, buin of the Shin clan, was born in 1476 as the daughter of Shin Seung-son, Buwon-gun of Gochang, and Jungmo Hyunju Lee. In 1488, she was crowned crown princess, and when Yeon San-gun ascended the throne in 1494, she became queen. However, when Yeon San-gun was dethroned due to the rebellion of King Jungjong in 1506, her status was lowered to Ko Chang-gun buin, and she lived in Jeongcheong-gung outside the palace. It is said that she had a generous nature, was highly educated, yet humble, and served her superiors well. So even after she was driven out to her private residence, she was given a house and servant, and was treated with courtesy as a concubine. Although she was despised by Jang Lok-su, who was favored by Yeon San-gun, Jang Lok-su was beheaded on the day Yeon San-gun was dethroned, but Lady Shin passed away with dignity at the age of 61 in 1537. Uniquely, there are the tombs of her daughter and the son-in-law under Yeon San-gun's tomb. Now that her family is gathered in the form of a family tomb, wouldn't Constant Shin clan be happier dead than when she was alive? There is a tomb in the middle of the neighborhood, so probably know the world even now. Ujeong-gungju Jo clan was born as the daughter of Jo-nae, whose main residence was Hanyang. In 1412, she was designated as the concubine of an ex-king Taejong and attempted to enter the place. The Taejong passed away soon after, and she was not appointed as being title of concubine. Afterwards, King Sejong specially gave her the title of Ujeong-gungju, and she passed away in 1454. Princess Hwisun, the daughter of Yeon San-gun, was born as the eldest daughter of Yeon San-gun and his wife Shin clan, and became Princess Hwisun. In 1501, she married Go Mun-kyung, but when Yeon San-gun was dethroned due to the King Jungjong rebellion in 1506, she abolished the title of princess. Yeon San-gun's son-in-law Go Mun-kyung was born as the son of Gu Su-young, whose main residence was Myeongseong and Kiran Hyunju Lee clan. He married Princess Hwisun in 1501 and became Lungyangwi. However, when King Yeonsan-gun was dethroned due to the King Chungdong rebellion in 1506, his official position was cancelled. After the rebellion, his father Gu Suyong requested King Chungdong to divorce Princess Huisun, but it was not realized due to opposition from the ministers. The place of exile is in Hwage Park in Gyeodong, Gangwon Island. Before crossing the Gyeodong Bridge from Gangwon Islands, you must present your resident registration card at the military checkpoint. Hwage Park admission fee is 5,000 won for adults. You can go up to the Hwagesan Observatory by taking the monorail. The fare is 13,000 won for adults. On September 2nd, 1506, King Yeonsan-gun, who was dethroned, came out of the main gate wearing red clothes and a hat, bowed down on the ground, and said, "I have committed a great sin, but thanks to the king's grace, I did not die." And then he got on the Pyeonggyoja carried by 4 people and passed through Seonimmun Gate on the east side of Changdeokgung Palace, left Hanyang-do-song through Dongrymun, Seodaemun, and stayed near the Yeonhee-gung, which is the current main gate of Yonsei University. On the second day, stay in Gumpo. On the third day, stay in Dongjin. On the fourth day, stay in Ganghwa. On the fifth day, September 6th, Gyeodong Goguri Anchiso. And this time, the attendant consisted of 4 9, 2 eunuchs, 1 Bangam officer, and 1 Dangsang officer, accompanied by soldiers. The fence around the place where he was confined was narrow and high, so the sun could not be seen, and there was a small door that barely allows people to be put in. He said that when Yeonsan-gun went inside, the maid cried loudly. After being exiled to Gyeodong, he suffered from contagious disease and could not drink water or open his eyes, and died on November 8th of that year. It is difficult to know the true character of Yeonsan-gun, but the Iga, which the people Ganghwa-do composed and sang in resentment of the king when he was demoted to Gyeodong and made to live within a throne fence, give us an idea of the contemporary evaluation of Yeonsan-gun. 충성은 거짓이요 거동은 교동일세. 일발은 경어디 두고 석양하늘 끝니 따라가는 거. 두어라 교동 또한 각시질이니 날새가 부빙하고 조용조하네. This is the song that was recorded in the Yeonsan-gun diary. The claim that it was for country and the people was a lie, and as a result, the place he moved to was Gyeodong Island. This poem ridiculed and caricatured Yeonsan-gun, saying that Yeonsan-gun had numerous women as a power man and that he visited women's houses even when his power was declining like the setting sun. Kangha and Gyeodong include King Hwijong, Gangjong, King Chungjong, King Wu, and King Chang of the Goryeo dynasty, the dethroned Yeonsan-gun and Gwanghae-gun of the Joseon dynasty, and the royal family Prince Anpyeong, Im Hae-gun, Prince Yeongchang, Prince Neungchang, Eunwon-gun, and Gyeongan-gun, etc., was used as a place of exile for kings and royal families for over 1,000 years. The recent Kangha and Gyeodong were used as place of exile for the king and the royal family was because they were in islands close to Seoul, making isolation and surveillance easy. There are not many records of the royal family's life in exile because reading other people was limited and even writing was not allowed. However, it's only briefly recorded in the annals of the dynasty. The area of exile was assigned to the border areas such as Hamgyong-do and Pyeongwan-do, and islands such as Jeju-do, Namhae-do, Jin-do, Geoje-do, and Huksan-do. Among them, Kangha was used as a place for royal exile. Exile is a punishment that sends someone far away and prevents them from returning to their hometown until they die. The type of exiles were divided into 3 levels based on the distance between the place where they lived and the area where they were exiled. But there were also unique types of exile such as Anchi, where royal family members or high-ranking officials were isolated in a certain place. The most severe of all exiles is imprisonment on an island, where all connection to the land is cut off except by boat, and Yuri Anchi involves surrounding one's house with thorn trees and installing a fence to prevent one from escaping from there.